Hi everyone, it's Miss Kundrat here. We are going to do one of my favorite problems. All right, the diameter of a tennis ball is 2.7 inches. To the nearest tenth, what is the volume of the space taken up by air in the canister? All right, so before we just start throwing numbers around and doing math, we need to formulate a plan. Okay, what is it asking us to find? It is asking us to find the volume of the space taken up by air. Unfortunately, there is not a formula for that. However, there is a formula for volume of a cylinder. And a cylinder is, of course, what the shape of this canister is. So if we find the volume of the cylinder, and then we can find the volume of a sphere. We have a formula for that. Of course, the shape of a ball is a sphere. So we could use that formula, but we need to make sure that we multiply whatever that number is by 3 because there are 3 balls in that cylinder. So if we find the volume of the cylinder, and then we find the volume of a sphere and multiply that by 3, which represents all 3 balls, to figure out the volume of the space taken up by air, all we have to do is subtract. So that right there is our plan. So the first thing I like to do is I like to write my formulas. So formula for volume of a cylinder is pi r squared times the height. Now, if you forget a formula, just think about what's happening. That's the beauty of geometry. This right here, pi r squared, that formula should look very familiar to you because that is the formula for area of a circle. And if you think about what shape the base is of this canister, or cylinder, I should say, it is a circle. So you literally take the area of that and then you multiply it by the height, and that is what gives you the volume. Undo. All right, come on, buddy. We'll just leave it. We got the gist of it. So the information they gave us is that the diameter of a tennis ball is 2.7 inches. Well, if we look in our formula isn't asking for diameter, it wants radius. So if the diameter is equal to 2.7, to find the radius, all that we need to do is divide that by 2. Just cut it in half. So when we divide 2.7 by 2, we are going to get 1.35. So I'm going to go up in my formula. I'm going to write it on in 1.35 squared. Okay, we're almost there. Now what we need to do is we need to find the height. I'm going to move this over just a little bit. There we go. Oh, that looks kind of cool like that, doesn't it? Okay, the height of this thing. Well, they told us the diameter of a tennis ball is 2.7 inches. Now, if you think about what the diameter is, it is a special cord that is going to go right through the center of the circle from one end to the other. So, kind of like that. That is the diameter. Guys, the diameter is the same thing as the height of the tennis ball. So what we can do here is we have one tennis ball. So I'm going to go ahead and label this as 2.7. We have another tennis ball. So there's another 2.7. And of course, a third. So to figure out the height of this entire canister, all that we are going to do is 2.7 times 3, which is going to get us 8.1. So where I see H, I am now going to put 8.1. So now, guys, all we have to do is just use our calculator. And it is very important that when you're using your calculator, you know to do PEMDAS, okay? Your calculator does not. So when you are entering this in, you need to do 1.35 squared first. Then you're going to multiply that by the pi symbol, and then you're going to multiply that by 8.1. And when you do that, you are going to get 46 point, and of course the numbers are rational, so I'm just going to round it to 46.38. So that is the volume of the cylinder. So now, oh goodness, so now that we're done with that part, that looks bad, we're going to worry about, or figure out, I should say, the volume of a sphere. Sorry, you know me and these stylists. I'm a little rusty here. Oopsie, bear with me, guys. There's all that work we worked so hard for. Let's move that. We got to circle our answer, move that over. Okay. There we go. All right. Now let's switch some colors up. Let's go with, ooh, blue's nice. I'm going to go there. All right. So now what we're going to worry about is the volume of a sphere. Formula for volume of a sphere is 4/3 pi r cubed. Now, guys, they give you this formula on your EOC, but they don't tell you what it's for. So you need to know that this is the formula for volume of a sphere. All right, so now I'm just going to plug in what we know. We know that pi, we're going to leave this way, and our radius, be very careful here. Our radius is not 2.7. Our radius is half that, which is 1.35. So I'm going to go right here, and I'm going to say 1.35, and that is cubed. Now all we have to do is work our calculators. So again, you do PEMDAS, your calculators do not. So the first thing you want to do here is you want to do 1.35 cubed. And once you do that, oh, and be careful here as well. What I like to do with this, I personally don't trust the calculators that much. I like to put in times 4 divided by 3, because that is what this fraction is, or any fraction. Okay, the numerator is the number that you start with. So 4 divided by 3. That is what this means. I'm actually going to start this one over again with the explanation in the calculator. So we're going to do 1.35 cubed, and then you're going to times that by 4. And then you're going to divide that by 3. And then you are going to multiply that by that pretty pi symbol. And you're going to equals. And what you get when you do that is 10 point, I'm going to say 306 is what that rounds to. Okay. Oh, now I circled that, but actually be careful, because what that represents is the volume of one ball. We have 3 balls, so we actually have to take that 10.306 and multiply that by 3. And when we do that, we are going to get, oh goodness, 30 point, I'm going to say 92. Oh goodness, that 2 is rough looking. Now that right there represents the volume of all 3 balls. Multiply that guy by 3. There we go. So now let's go back to our plan. We want to take the volume of the sphere, which is 46.38, and we want to subtract the volume of all 3 balls, which is 30.92. So all that you do now is you put this very last part in your calculator. You're going to do 46.38 minus 30.92. And when you get that, when you finish, you are going to get 15.46. Whew. That's a lot of work. But what I'm going to do before I actually finalize that answer is I'm going to go back to the question and I'm going to make sure I'm giving them what they asked for and how they asked for it. Oh, and they said to the nearest 10th, what is the volume of the space taken up by air? So what do I need to do with this information here? Okay, I am going to look right here. Remember, if this number is 5 or more, then this guy here is going to go up. If it is less than 5, then this number here stays the same. So this is actually going to round to 15.5. And in this case, it's going to be inches cubed. And what you'll have to do on your test is just enter in that number right there, that 15.5, and they will have this part already written for you. Whew, so 15.5 inches cubed. This is, let me just shrink. Oh, I like that fish problem too, but that's okay. There we go. So that is it, everyone. And be careful too. You have to make sure you read each problem that you see, like a brand new problem, brand new scenarios, and always formulate a plan. I cannot stress that enough. And then when you're all finished, even after all that work, go back to the problem and make sure you are giving them the answer how they want it. All right, well, thank you all. Good luck on your EOC. You are all going to do awesome. I just know it.